Oh, yeah. Hello, my name is Muniba, and I am from Pakistan. And we are here to talk about my article. It is about money can buy happiness. And so, first, I want everyone to introduce themselves, then we are going to talk about it.
Okay, my name is Esther Uwanah Edith. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a writer and also a principal editor at Sportswave.
Thank you.
My name is Patsy Ferguson. I'm the editor-in-chief of Fourth Wave. And hello, Sangeeta. We're so glad you're here.
Hello.
And we are an international feminist publication on Medium, where writers get paid. And all our participants publish on Medium, so I hope you look for us there. And you can find their details in the details below this video. But I'm very happy to be here.
Hi, my name is Suma Narayan, and I'm in India right now on holiday. I stay in Melbourne, and I'm here for 2 months for some medical emergencies, etc. And I'm very happy to be part of the Fourth Wave organization and group because we believe in the same values in life, and it's great to be with such a group of very committed women who talk about women's rights from all around the world. Very proud to be part of this group.
Thank you. Sangeeta, please introduce yourself.
All right. Hi, my name is Sangeeta. I am of Indian origin, but currently reside in Italy. And I feel like Patsy and I go back just a couple of years. But I've had a lot of interesting insights, not just from Patsy as an editor, but also Patsy as a person when it comes to a lot of the topics that you guys have already covered, including the one from last week where I was. And yeah, I'm honestly very excited to learn more today and probably also give my 2 cents. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. So let's talk about it. Okay, people love to say that money can't buy happiness, but let me be honest, the sentence usually come from the places of comfort. Like it is like when people are sitting in their comfortable bedrooms and with um, all of them coming and they are saying that money can't buy happiness. They are like it is easy to say money doesn't matter when you are never worried about rent, when you are not you are never stayed awake at night wondering how to protect your family, when you are never at a choice between dignity and survival. And usually for me, I'm the eldest sibling of like we are seven siblings and I am elder daughter, and it is very very like especially for elder daughter money is like happiness. I can give them uh, like comfort. I don't know, it is like kind of burden to me to give them like this kind of comfort. I don't know which of the, like not all of you are elder sisters. I think Esther is. She is
Yes.
elder, yeah. And Patsy is middle child, I guess, middle child. I don't know about the Suma and Sangeeta. So I want to add these things from you. When you hear that money can't buy happiness, do you people feel empowered or dismissed, and why? Can you tell me about this? Did you hear this at any part of your life that money can't buy happiness?
Yeah, actually, a couple of times. In fact, it tends to be something that comes up every time specifically if it's in your social group, when you are looking for money or you are looking to get something specific in your life. But even if you don't think of yourself as an individual, I really love the fact that you brought up as an older or the oldest sibling, money was very important growing up. I think if you've been around a single mother or a mother who's being financially abused, money is basically a god. If you don't have it, you can't make life work. You can't give your kids what you want. And I think I did see a lot of that firsthand. So it's more than just happiness. Like you said, it's safety, dignity. It's this sense of security. You almost feel like at any given moment, I might lose my house, I might lose my kids, I might no longer be where I was just yesterday. And just that much keeps you in survival mode that people with privilege don't recognize.
Thank you.
Definitely. Uh, a couple of things come to my mind right away. One is somebody told me they went to this exhibit about the Titanic, and I didn't know this, but they locked the poor people in. On the Titanic, your cheapest rooms were at the bottom, and then a little more expensive, and a little more, and a little more. And when it was clear the ship was sinking, they locked the gates so the poor people couldn't get out because there weren't enough boats for everyone. And that's kind of a real good illustration of how money matters. Money matters. And in my own family of origin, my father withheld money from my mother. And it came to be very important to me to have control of the money. So when I chose a spouse, a partner, I chose someone who would give me the money, and I decide where are we going to spend it. I keep track of it and I control it. And I'm not controlling, but I need to not have someone else control me. In fact, there was a very brief time where he said, "Well, I don't know anything about money. I'll give you a break. You're working too hard, paying all the bills. I'll do the money." But I didn't like it immediately because he immediately wanted to look at what I'm spending and tell me, "Oh, don't buy this. That's not a good purchase." So I don't want that. I don't want that. So I need to be in control.
Thank you.
Okay, to answer the question, I would say, yeah, like obviously money does, when I say it buys happiness, it buys comfort, it buys, like you said in your article, it buys stability, like it buys, which is honestly happiness. Like if you have all of these things, you would definitely be happy. If you're thinking of how you're going to struggle to pay the next bill, it's hard to be happy. And I'm going to be very honest, like only I'm the eldest daughter. I grew up in a family where we are middle class, so we're more comfortable. So money is honestly not something I grew up thinking about until I got older and I had to start working for myself. And I have to start thinking about money basically. So money does buy happiness. There are so many things I would like to buy that will make me very happy.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm the eldest daughter too. So I know what you're talking about because um whatever happens in the house, it's the entire responsibility seems to be on you rather than your younger siblings.
Yeah.
So they are playing around, and you're wondering now, what we are going to buy, where are we going to go, and things like that. It kind of trickles down from your parents to the eldest person first, and then it goes down to the others, I think. So money can't buy you happiness. That's fine. I mean, it sounds very nice and highbrow and everything, but it can buy you respect, a lot of respect. It can also buy you the sources to get you happiness. So
Yes.
I don't believe that money cannot buy you happiness, because I read somewhere that money cannot buy you happiness, but you better make quite a lot of it before you utter such rubbish. I read that saying somewhere. So, like you said, the people who say money cannot buy you happiness are the people who have got enough of it and they can afford to say such a thing. But for a person, like you said, you don't know where your next meal is coming from. Money can buy you a lot of happiness, especially if you're a mother in the family, or the eldest daughter, or the eldest anybody. Where you are responsible for people who are younger than you, and if you do not get the money. First of all, of course, if you're the eldest child, what you usually do is you make sure that the younger ones are fed before you are fed yourself, like a mother, you know. So if you have the money for that food, it does buy you happiness, because seeing that your younger siblings are being fed is a cause for happiness, and that cannot come without money. So it is very important to have money. And I know this connection with the eldest daughter and eldest sibling and the money part of it. I know exactly where you're coming from. So even on Medium, for instance, um, when the earnings went down, I didn't see anybody sitting back with equanimity saying that, okay, that's fine. I'm perfectly okay with it. Everybody tried to, they were rebelling in their own ways. Some people would keep quiet, some people would shoot from other people's shoulders, some people would be very vocal about it, some people threatened to leave, some people left, and it was all a matter of money finally, right? So money does buy you happiness, because that money that they used to give us initially also meant that they respected your craft, they respected your ability to write, they respected the words that you were coming out with. But when that money came down, it is almost like they're treating us without respect. So it does buy happiness. It does buy happiness in every way possible. So I
Yeah.
don't know who came out with this saying, but I don't believe in it at all. It does buy happiness.
Hello, Demi.
Hi, Muni.
Hi, please. Yes. Hi. So we are talking about, did you hear any time that money can't buy happiness? And do you feel empowered or dismissed? And please introduce yourself too.
Hi, everyone. I'm Damilola from Nigeria. So, concerning the topic, I went back to my old write-ups on Medium and realized I've written something about that before, although it was not submitted to fourth wave. So it came out like, if money can't buy happiness, will poverty do? So definitely, I'm going to dismiss that mantra, that popular saying that money can't buy happiness. Why won't money buy happiness? Go for shopping, for example, buy a new handbag, buy a new clothes, try it on when you get home and see if you will not be happy. No, money can definitely buy happiness. I don't support that. Take rent. And the most amazing part is this mantra is always being said by people that already have money. They'll tell you, oh, don't worry about money, it can't buy happiness. For somebody that can afford rent, afford meal, afford anything they want, and they are telling somebody that money can't buy happiness. No, I don't support that. Money can definitely buy happiness when you have access to it. So I'm definitely dismissing. And I can't wait to hear what everyone has to say about that too. Hi, Esther.
In addition, like apart from just the basics of like rent, like having a shelter over your head, having food, clothing, money also buys better health care, especially in a country
Yes.
like Nigeria. Because people would always say, oh, but money will not make you healthy. Like you can have money and you'll be sick, but money gets you access to better health care. Like our healthcare in this country is terrible if you do not have money. But if you have the money, you can have access to like private hospitals where you get better care. You can have access to be able to even like fly out of the country to get better health care. So money buys happiness in a lot of ways.
Yes,
Yes,
thank
I
you so
definitely
much.
Okay, so just before I come from I come from India basically, and I come from a place in the south of India called Kerala. So the thing is, you have such wonderful healthcare system over there. So if you are poor and if you do not have money, you can go to any healthcare center over there, and you're treated like royalty, and you are given all the facilities that richer people are given. So it's almost like a welfare state. So it's like so now the government has introduced a scheme where they pay all women over 50 something like a pension, whether they have been working or not been working, they pay them a pension.
Oh,
Everyone
Fabulous.
across the board, they pay them. So that is the only state in India where something like this happens. So my sister-in-law is a doctor. My brother's wife is a doctor. She works in one of these centers. So things like delivery, pregnancy, health care, and anything, like my eyes, for instance, here it costs a bomb because I went into a private clinic. There in Kerala, if you want to go to a municipal hospital or a public hospital, you can go and you pay just a pittance. So that's there.
That's
Yeah.
fabulous. But it's
Yeah.
just the one state, so the rest
It's
of the
just the
country.
one state, just the one state.
I wish
Hmm.
we even had one state like that here in Nigeria. Healthcare is really
Yeah.
terrible. And we have a payment before service over in hospitals. So you go
Oh,
to your hospital and even if you are bleeding, you are dying, you have to pay first before they
point
attend
of
to you.
for real.
Yes, you have to give them the money first before they will attend to you, even though you are dying. They would rather leave you to die.
Even for
So
something
they would not save you
card,
and then you're
registration
here.
card, yeah, for it. So unfortunate.
Yeah.
Uh, um, on something I was thinking before we got on the healthcare, but on the healthcare here, if you're poor, they will still treat you. But our healthcare is super expensive. And we've been trying to get universal health care and in the United States and not succeeding for a long time. And it's a shame. It takes a lot of money to buy your health care. But if you're poor and you show up at the hospital, they'll take care of you. And they can't get any money from you because you don't have any money, but they'll still take care of you. But something I thought about when I saw the topic was that money is a feminist issue. And that's why in the 60s and 70s in the United States, there was protests about women being able to get paid equal wages for equal work, also just to get hired. Um, you know, if you don't have money, then you don't have freedom. You don't have freedom to leave an abusive marriage. You don't have freedom to make your own choices, to take care of your children, feed them, whatever. So having the ability to earn is important, even if you choose not to exercise it. Having the ability to work outside the home, to keep your money to yourself, to put in your own bank account, to have your own credit card, to have your own money is a
yes.
feminist issue. And
We've got communities in India where however educated the girl is, she is not allowed to work after marriage because
yes,
that is considered to be stigmatic. In the sense it's supposed to be a blot on the family name that you actually allowed a girl to work. So I've
but
got
that's
students, yeah, I've got students who are so good at what they're doing, but then the male child gets a preference and can go for any career that he wants, but the female child cannot. So I've got this student who is a wonderful person. She just got about 19 patents or something in the pharmaceutical industry, but her parents were not allowing her to work. I actually had to intervene, and it got really ugly and stuff like that because they say in our community the man supports the woman. however highly qualified she is or not.
And that's infantilizing. That makes her into a child. So she isn't of equal
Exactly.
And
status.
very
Exactly.
susceptible to abuse. Like she can be very abused and she would not have any way out.
That's true.
And I guess it is by design, because if she is independent, she will be able to speak to other people. The more women speak to each other, they figure out amongst each other what is abuse and what isn't. But
Yeah.
not having a job, not having access is very isolating. So, and in a lot of ways, when everybody was talking, I kind of started thinking as well that money buys you success. Money allows you to have connections. It even allows a man to get together with a woman he otherwise wouldn't have access to based on just his, what you call it, his personality or even his family name. If he earns a certain amount, it opens up a bracket of women, at least in India, in the arranged marriage system. This is huge. But even here in Italy, you own a vineyard or you own like an olive grove, and suddenly, okay, yeah, you're a hot commodity. I have this property I leverage to get something else. And it continues. It's wealth breeds wealth. And in a lot of ways, money has been buying for men for centuries now almost better prospects, entire kingdoms, better women who can support them, women who will actually be the ghostwriter for every single book they've ever written. And entire careers come from the labor of someone who just so happened to not have money. It's more like not having money erases you. Having money keeps you in not just power, but also in the public eye. It keeps you in pop culture in a lot of ways.
It gives you an identity, basically.
Yes, definitely. So, in support to the Indian family and the Indian culture, I feel like if a man is rich enough, he would be able to dictate what he wants for for his daughter. So you can't a family that is not very rich will be susceptible to what others will say. For example, you have a man that cannot even afford meals at home, that sits around with people, they gist a lot. So that kind of person, they will tell you how to train your kids, how to differentiate the male child from the female child. But somebody that is well-to-do, that trained, that feeds even more than his own family members, I'm very sure people will not have a say. He is going to say this is how he wants his daughter to be, and yes, I think that will work. So money does a whole lot of things. Money does a whole lot of things. Yes.
And it passes down. So once you have a rich person, then their children are rich and they didn't earn that money, but somehow it propagates. It makes, and it's so hard to get out of poverty if you don't have the money, and to get money. It's so hard to save money if you can't pay the bills.
That's true.
Yes, this is true. Okay, thank you so much thank you so much. So I always, I'm eldest daughter, and I always heard that things from everyone, that women always have to sacrifice, always. She's taught to sacrifice quietly, like if she is elder or she's not, but it is more to elder siblings, because she's kind of mm, I don't know, Suma or Mr. can know, she can understand too, that she is some kind of shield to other siblings. um, First she is the one, every responsibility, everything is on her first, then to their siblings. But when it comes to money, she's always asked for sacrifice. Go first, give your this one your money, then this one. You are elder one. You can um, like
Go
go and
without.
yes, go without it. You are like you can do this. So how many of us were taught to sacrifice quietly of asking for financial security? Can you tell me about this? How many, like, can you tell me about this? The you or anyone hear this thing, like sacrifice your need first. Please start, Summa or anyone.
Okay. So the thing is, this thing about sacrificing, I think it doesn't just come from other people, it also comes from within us, like
Yes.
we would rather go without a piece of bread, and we would rather give it to our sibling, so is it comes not just from conditioning from others, but also it's your own feeling that you should feed your people who depend on you first. But this what you mentioned about the elder one always being the shield, you know something like a buffer. So when my parents get angry with my brother, and he's younger than I am, so he gets. I stay in between, stand in between, so that my father doesn't physically assault him, because my father gets very angry. Father is so hot-tempered. He is very good in maths. My father used to be extremely good in mathematics, and I was dumb, as in I still am, but I'm even more dumb in maths. So I can make 2 + 2 22 even now. That kind of person I am. I'm really bad at it. So he used to. When he used to get angry, he's got this thick head of hair. That whole hair used to stand up like this. I see him and I forget the little I know.
Mm,
He's so angry he used to get. So when he used to get angry with my brother or my sister, I used to actually physically stand in front of them so that they don't get hurt. So I don't think it comes from, but my parents were very accustomed to saying that they are younger than you, so you should give them things first. And one day I remember we were crossing the road, and there was a cyclist who came and knocked into my younger sister. And we were going for a movie, and we never go for movies, because at that time we were not well enough to be able to afford the tickets for a movie, when we were small. So we were just crossing the road, and the cyclist came and knocked into my sister. My sister fell down. My sister's 8 years younger than I am, so she's actually my first baby, actually, the way I was looking after her. So my father got very annoyed. My father says, "You're very selfish. That is why you're not paying attention to what your sister is doing and what the cyclist was doing." And then he told all of us, "Come back. We're not going for the movie." So, and he wouldn't talk to me for, I think, 1 week or something. That is the way men used to behave. You're angry with somebody, you don't talk to them for 1 week, you know. So it does come down on you sometimes, but it is more a conditioning by yourself and by your love for your younger siblings than a conditioning which comes from outside. It's not an external thing. It's more an internal thing rather than an external thing, I feel.
Yeah, I do agree with that also. It's more of like a personal thing. Like, especially I grew up, we are not the richest, but we're comfortable. But my parents did have to make sacrifices, they had to sacrifice things to make sure we were good. Like, they were not changing their wardrobe, but they made sure they changed ours, that kind of thing. So like growing up and having my own money. So I have I have 4 siblings. No, 3 younger ones. We're 6. I have 3 younger ones, but I'm the first daughter. I have 2 older brothers.
mm,
So with my younger ones, I find myself doing the same thing. Like I would want to get something for myself, but it would have asked me, oh, they need this. And it's like, oh, do I really need to get this thing? Like it's their needs are more like I would rather them be happy. Like I want them to be happy. I don't want them to be without something basically. So I always find myself sacrificing the things I want or I need to make sure they are very comfortable where they are. So it's more of like a personal conditioning, not external.
For me, I would pick the external part. And why is that? Is because, for example, my younger ones are in school presently. I'm a graduate here. So people feel like you have gone through the stage. So you should be able to tell them things they should do since you have passed the stage. So when my sister come around to say, oh, she's tired, she wants this, she's tired of this, she's tired of that, people will be like, meet your sister. At least she's a graduate. She has passed the stage. She'll be able to put you through what you should do, and now you scale through that. Sometimes I'll be like, did I meet anyone during my own time? No. Why should I be the next parent after my actual parent? It's not even convenient for me, but I scale through it anyway. So she should find a way about it too. I won't have any choice than to just go ahead and tell her things she needs to do, or even sometimes do the things she needs to do for her. So in my own part, I'll go for the extra. Yes, the personal part is there. Because when they are going back to school, I feel like, okay, let me buy this for them on my own part. My parents to do this, I'll be the one to do that. So it's both ways for me anyway. It's both ways for me.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Patsy, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, a couple of things come to my mind. I didn't really sacrifice. I'm number 4 out of 5, and so I was kind of like the baby, but and I didn't really sacrifice for number 5, but I do sacrifice for my children, and I do feel that women in general are taught to sacrifice for their families, their husbands and partners, and children. And in any kind of social setting, they're the ones that kind of step back. Uh, they're not going to grab the piece. And it kind of reminds me, I'm not sure if this is related, but I read a piece a long time ago that said in charity, when you give to a girl, for example, if you give her the money to go to school to become a doctor, she will come back to her community and take care of the people in her community. But if you give money to a boy, he will become a doctor, go to the big city and seek his fortune. So it's actually more effective to give to girls because they spread it around. And I think this has to do with our gender conditioning, where the boys are taught you have to show your excellence, and that's how you be a man, and that's how you be at the top. And girls are taught you have to show your nurturing, you have to show how you take care of people, and that's how you be a woman. And maybe some of it is natural because of motherhood. I don't know. But I thought of that when I was thinking of sacrifice. And I also thought of the Christian religion, which makes sacrifice into something holy. Jesus sacrificed his life, and you're kind of taught, if you are raised a Christian, that sacrifice is something God wants you to do. And I'm not sure it's true. I mean, if everybody, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it. I do want to be a good person. I'd rather, they have that song, I don't know if you've heard it, but there's this Simon and Garfunkel song, I'd rather be a hammer than a nail. But actually, I'd rather be a nail. I don't want to hammer anybody. I really don't, because it hurts me to do that. So that's a sacrifice, but a philosophical one, I feel like you are elevated. I don't know if that's Christianity brainwashing or just basic humanity. I'm not sure.
Got that as well. And in Hinduism, you've got things like you live for others, and you will get instant. We've got this thing that that after you die, um, you are born again, and if you do something good for yourself or for other people, then your cycle of birth and death ends, and then you join God and all kinds of weird stuff. So I've never been able to understand it finally, but this is what they say: the more you sacrifice for other people, the better your chances of integrating into an afterlife which is very peaceful and stuff like that. And among our women also, we've got things like, the more you hit, you've seen the WWF, if you've seen, that wrestling thing. So you wrestle and you wrestle, and then after that you just lie like that, and then people will walk away, and then you get up and hit the other person, etc. So this in our community, it is like the more a woman sacrifices herself, the more she's considered to be a goddess. In fact, we've also got a movie in Malayalam called what is that? Yes, she is a goddess, and a temple should be built to her, and it's supposed to be very great. That means you keep on hitting her like you beat a gong. Keep on hitting them, keeping on hitting them, and then it's supposed to be to make you a great person, a wonderful, great person, etc. So the woman is supposed to suffer. The man is supposed to make her suffer as and when possible, and then you can and then you're supposed to keep on forgiving them and keep on forgiving them, because he's a project, and he needs to be kind of rescued from his own evil nature, and only a woman can do all kinds of Tommy rot anyway. Yeah. Yes, please, somebody else.
But I think this whole you all bring up really good points when it comes to sacrifice, because I think it is such a beautiful or cruel product of having this economic system. Because if there isn't a willing party ready to sacrifice themselves, the rest of the elite don't get to exist. There have to be people who believe that there is a reward at the end of the tunnel, whether that's with religion, whether that's the karm thing where I carry forward my good deeds, and then it takes 100 lifetimes to finally become a human being or something. My mother used to tell me, and things like that. So you have to keep the reward conveniently outside of your natural life, so that you never ask for anything more in this level where you are.
What at the end of the rainbow?
Pretty much, but the thing is, the pot is never yours. You keep walking and it disappears. It's just someone else gets to have that pot. You're just looking at the rainbow and saying it's gonna be my turn next lifetime.
Sacrifice that as well.
Mm.
Yes, love it. From like, okay, so uh, my friend, she is like very educated. She is very educated. She did double masters in biotechnology, and she loved labs and she loved it. But when she got married, her husband said, no, like labs and nothing. You have to stay at home. And recently, when I talked to her, she was like crying. And she said, tell me anything, like tell me any thing to do online or anything. I am uh, literally asking my husband for money, and he is saying, yesterday I gave you money for toothpaste. Why are you asking any more money? Like like this uh, small thing, she is like begging him. And I personally think that when men say no more going to jobs or don't do any job or anything, they are kind of making women more suppressed and trying to be more strong to rule her. And now our, like my mother and my grandmother and my aunties, they are saying that now divorce rate is very high. In our time, there was no divorce rate. There was no
That's
divorce
great.
in South Asia. And but I personally think that time no one was educated, no one was financially strong enough to stand for themselves. Now they don't,
Yeah.
when they are that strong enough, they don't tolerate any abuses, not physical, not like not mental abuses, like what is when you are begging for only tooth money for toothpastes or
Yes.
money for a face cream. And I think um, money is also kind of thing that make women secure. And what you people think about it? Are there men are some kind of it is game of men or something that they don't want women to be succeeded or have this much money? Uh, I think it is in South Asia, but I don't know if it is in USA or Nigeria or Italy or Australia. Please tell me about this.
I actually have a little story. So recently, a story went viral, a video. This pastor said a member of the church came to a woman and she was crying. She was like, her husband beat her up. Why did he beat you up? He asked her to stop working when they got married and she stopped working. And then she asked him for money for pad recently. And he did not give her the money to buy the pad. She was in that period. So she went to his pocket and she took 2,000 naira to get the pad. So he beat her up for that. And the pastor's response on the pulpit was she told the woman that she should be very grateful to her husband. That is I don't know if you saw the video, Dami. Like he's taking her to a higher realm because how would you be asking for 2,000 naira to buy a pad? I think 2,000 naira is like $1 and some cents for $8.
Yikes.
So, and he beat her off because she took that from his pocket, even though he was the one that told her not to work. So she's going to be able to stay home and take care of the kids and raise the family and all of that. But I don't think anyone should be falling for that trap anymore because our grandparents, our mothers, they fell for the trap, and like we know a lot of these stories. Like the man asks the woman to stop working, and then it turns into serious financial abuse. And men do call women what's the word, like they are burdens on them, like housewives. They are liabilities. That's the word. They are liabilities. Like even though they are the one that asks these women to stop working, at some point they see them as liabilities. So I don't think anyone should be falling for this trap anymore. That just, you don't have to experience it to learn from the experience. Like too many women for generations have experienced being dependent on men, and there are too many negative stories. So I don't think anybody should be falling for that anymore. You need
Yep.
to make it as a woman.
I feel like people that are still upholding that mantra, I think they are still working in the 60s because we now live in the era where men even want to do 50-50 with their wives. So why would anyone say their wife or work or something like that? No, even men don't want to marry women that are high anymore these days. And anybody still doing that is just for one reason: what to do, how to do it, why you should do it. And the funniest part is these men, they're always doing infidelities with women that have these things that you don't want your wife to do. That's the most
I
amazing
I
part.
have an aunt. I have an aunt. She got married maybe, well, she got married a while ago. That was maybe 10 years ago at this point while at the wedding. And before she got married, so I was maybe 15, 16, before she got married, she was this rich auntie. Like she had a very good job. She was working, she was living very close. So we used to go to visit her and she would always buy things, bring to us. And then she got married, and she got married to a pastor. So he said she should quit her job and focus on being a pastor's wife. So she quit her job, and it's like immediately it became a very terrible situation. I think she said the week they got married, he brought in his very sick father who had to take care of. So the father would like pull on himself. She had to beat the father. Since like that's a new job. She doesn't have to go to work anymore. That's a new job, taking care of his family. And they they got into financial distress. Like the money was not coming in for him anymore the way it used to. So she had to actually start working when she had her first child. So what he did was he put her in a school that it was a private school. One of the church members owned to this private school. So he put her there, and the salary account was his account. So she would work and they would pay him, and then she has to beg him for even her transport money. So she gets paid for the work she's doing, but she still has to beg for transport. Not talk of food. Not talk of like maybe she's at work and she wants to buy a snack. Like just her daily transport. Like please, I need this. Like it would like trek back is not that far. Like you can trek back. So she went through a lot and she's still there. I hope it's better now. But yeah, men telling their wives not to work, and yeah, I've never seen a situation where it ended well, ever.
But I think it's not just the husbands, although we have way too many horror stories about, oh, once the husband tells you not to work, you're basically falling into the financial abuse pipeline from there. I think now this is from personal experience. I don't know if this happens anywhere else. I hope it doesn't. But when my mother left her first husband, and she had my sister at the time, um, it was probably the most financial abuse she ever had from her own family, her own siblings. She was the second last of them, so she had a lot of siblings. And you would hope that, when you already got beaten down by a divorce and recently had a baby, that you would have some support from family. And it just was the complete opposite. In her case, it made me realize, watching the way that my, I guess, uncles and aunts treated my mother, that it's just anybody who has money when they know you don't, they take advantage of that. It's
Yeah.
it's like when you have
Yeah.
power, yeah, when you have that kind of power, it kind of makes sense why
Corrupt.
it was so. Sorry?
I said power corrupts. Sorry.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's like it I kind of understand why colonization was so in vogue, why it was so fashionable to enslave my people and people in other parts of the world. It was so it's almost, I don't want to say it's human nature, because I don't believe that we come out of the womb wanting to hurt people. But it's almost like money becomes a tool of oppression, whether you're a man who created the system or you are a woman who is, using the system to continue the hierarchy. That's something that really hurts me when I hear, when we come back to the topic, we come back to the whole money can't buy happiness. I think a lot of the time, money can at least buy you, like you said, dignity. And I cannot stress enough how easy it is to fall into being homeless. There are lots of people, even on Medium, I'm sure you've come across writers who've gone viral, like bloody viral. And they say, well, I've been homeless, I've been living out of my car for n number of days, and no one helps me, and people try to take advantage of me. And the state doesn't help. And it's like, yes, we can talk about women should do something, or like we probably should be telling men for sure that please stop financially abusing your wives. You're supposed to be equals. But at the end of the day, there's also a huge overarching theme of anybody in power feels like they have no obligation or responsibility to help people who don't have it, especially a government. So many of our countries are democracies. We are watching them do these multi-million dollar campaigns in different countries. Here as well, Meloni has so many billboards. She's still rallying, even when we had the EU vote. She was rallying because she wanted to be the representative for the entirety of the EU. And I honestly, I have no idea why she thought she would be that rep, considering a lot of the speeches that she has made that are very pro-fascism. But it's almost like it's easy for this person to rally for something they want rather than think about the fact that there's so many people around me who are from here, purebred Italian, who don't have places to live, who are on the streets begging, who are literally downtrodden to the extent that you can't even imagine. Jobs are paying you next to nothing. And it's by design though. Like you can't really say that, oh, the system's broken. I think the system is exactly the
Yeah.
way it's supposed to be. It's not broken, but that means we need a completely different system. And sure, you can't buy the emotion of happiness, but you 100% can buy someone to make you happy. And it almost reduces people into commodities, into products. I think that is what we're all kind of circling, but not getting to yet.
And I have something to say. I'm sorry if I'm not letting other people talk, but I have something to say in my country because we have north, in the northern part of the country. The north is known to be very like that. It has the highest illiteracy level. So even for people from the northern part of the country to go to universities in other parts of the country, the cutoff mark is lower because they are known to be very uneducated. Like the education level there is terrible. Like computer literacy is terrible. Like education in the northern part, everybody knows it's terrible. And it's also the area where, it's also the place where we have the most terrorism. It's the place that is the most unsafe. It's also the place where we have the most people in government. Like a lot of our leaders come from the northern part of the country. It's also the place where they support the government the most. And it's literally like if you see that place, you can see how poverty can be used as a tool. So it's almost like they keep these people uneducated and poor. So when they bring a few grains of rice to them, they shout support for the corrupt government. The place is very unsafe. Like we have entire villages getting wiped out overnight. Nothing is being done about it. They are very uneducated there, and nothing is being done about it. But it's also where we have the most leaders. Like most of our leaders, most of our senators, and all of that are from the northern part of the country. Our vice president is also from the north. So it's almost like it's by design that they keep them poor. So poverty is honestly used as a tool in that place. They do not let them have access to money. They do not let them have access to grow in any way. Because if you get educated and you're able to leave your environment, you can create wealth for your generation. So they keep them generation after generation. They just keep them very poor in that entire sector of the country. So it's like poverty is being used as a tool over there. So yeah, I think just came back to money, but like anytime something happens in this country, you would see those people coming out to protest. Like the other time we had them protesting that terrorists should be released. I don't know why. They were paid to do that, I guess. So recently we had a situation in the country where I feel like this is a little private. We had a situation where some students in Edo State, it's a state in the country, came out to protest against kidnapping because there have been a lot of kidnappings in their school area. So they came out to protest against kidnapping. And what did the government do? They had them arrested. So now those students are in jail for protesting against kidnapping. Like the government should do something about the level of kidnappings going on around the school area. But instead of doing something about the kidnappings, they arrested the students and all of them. And it was some innocent people who were not part of the protest are currently in jail. Like they are tried and have been sent to jail. So they're currently in jail right now. But then we have people from the northern part of the country being paid to protest that terrorists who be arrested should be released because they are their brothers. So, like
That's just
used as a tool. Huh?
Well, that's very illustrative of what Sangeeta was saying, how it's a design, how the system's working
Yeah,
exactly.
like that's how the system was made to work. Yeah.
And in the US, President Trump has said, I love uneducated people. And, you know, he didn't say why, but we can imagine why, because they're easier to manipulate. I just wanted to, this is off topic a little bit, back on what Muniba said in the beginning about divorce. I just want to say the divorce rate, the higher the divorce rate, the more free the women. If you're in a country with a high divorce rate, it means the women have freedom because women initiate most divorces, and they can do that if they have access to money, education, work, and ways to take care of them. So there's nothing wrong with divorce. So saying, you know, oh, no one got divorced, that's not a good thing in my mind, because that means all those women are getting beaten up, they're getting abused, and they have no way to get away from that. So they're also trying to, in the US, take back a lot of rights women have gained over the years, including no fault divorce. No fault means I don't want to marry you anymore. Let's get divorced. And that's fine. But it used to be you had to prove your husband was cheating on you. And how are you even going to do that? You know, you have to get pictures or something. I don't know. It's impossible to do. So it used to be you couldn't get divorced because, and they claim, oh, that's because God wants it this way, or this is holy to be married. But it's not. It's just another tool of control.
yeah.
I think marriage and money are also very intertwined as concepts. Everybody brought up a really good point there with marriage specifically, because pretty much every marriage known to man was about some kind of property deal, some kind of a princess has to marry a prince, because then there are better trade relations between, say, Germany and I don't know, Austria or something, or the kind of that kind of thing. And even today, like the modern version of this is really more like for Americans, your joint account, both of you have a 401k, and then you have a lot of savings and things going on that you will then use as your pension or whatever it is. For us here as well, there is a big distinction though between the way that Italians, for example, look at both money and marriage as compared to, say, because I'm from India, the way Indians look at it or South Asians look at it. A lot of South Asians think of marriage, yes, as a contract, but they're not really thinking of it as a purely I have to sign this and then, we're done. This is the legal part. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter. It's also about families joining. So that's why there's this whole thing about honor and dishonor, and it's not good to be separated or divorced or things of that nature, because it's not just the one person and the other person. It's like, especially the woman is carrying an entire legacy of undivorced people behind her. And if she leaves, then she was the one with the problem. That's how Indians see it. Here, on the other hand, there's a completely topsy-turvy way because, for example, women and men are not allowed to change their names once you're married, because you get one tax code. That's the only tax code you get, and that is on your born name, and you don't get another one. So you're not allowed to do it. Everybody who's married, you can't actually tell if people are married to each other unless they specifically tell you, because the only place they would have it maybe is their passport, and not every Italian has a passport. And then, so then there's a thing where people only marry if they want other benefits, usually tax related. A lot of people here frequently get married where they have kids don't get married and they have kids together. And any other part of the world, you would think, no, that's not okay. You're going to get financially abused. You're going to get just generally taken for a ride. Will you ever be able to get child support? There's no alimony. You're not married. This is all true even here, but it is almost not seen. It's seen as a sovereign thing for women to not be married while still not having the same rights and even giving the child the father's name purely because, oh, I save a little bit of money on tax. So it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you marry, that's an issue. If you don't get married, it's like either way, you're kind of screwed.
Well, I don't know what happened to Muniba, and we have reached our hour. I wonder if she had another.
She put a message that she said she's coming.
Oh, is she coming back? Thank you for noticing. I didn't see that. Okay. She's coming back. All right. Suma, did you want to say something or there we go. Oh, the baby.
I'm sorry, she is crying very much.
Hello, Uwanah. Hello. She's going to be computer savvy. She's
Yes.
getting an early education. Well, I was just saying that our hour is up, and I know Harpreet had suggested that she would lead the next one, but I thought she was coming to this one, so I don't know if that has changed. But when we find out, we meet every Sunday, and we like to change the person leading the meeting. So if anyone would like to do that next Sunday, let me know, and I will put an announcement on the YouTube channel so we'll know the topic and the host.
Okay.
Okay.
And also, I want to
Right.
make sure you all know Mooney might make a video of us. She wants our permission to do that so she can promote the live streams.
Please send
So,
your pictures, or if you are happy with these screenshots. I don't know.
so just write her if you disagree. Don't, so she doesn't have to wait for everybody to agree. We're going to assume you agree. And if you don't want to be featured or included, give her an email.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
It's
Thank
wonderful
you.
to see you all. I hope you all come back next week. I'm not sure who's going to be leading. Suma, are you going to still be in India next week?
I am, yes.
So can you come back?
Yes.
Wonderful. We don't usually get Suma because she now lives in Australia and it's 4 a.m. there. But when she's visiting India, she can join us. So that's fabulous. And thanks for coming, everyone. And
Thank
thanks
you.
for watching.
Bye.
See you
Thank you
next
for
week.
having us. Thank you.